First story. Is she cheating or am I being overly sensitive? My previous girlfriend of 7 years cheated on me. It was a whole saga and I had initially posted the story here. However, deleted that account a while back. Long story short, went through a pretty tough period and then my grandma passed away, which kind of became the catalyst that shook me out of it. Right now I've been talking to a girl for almost a year. Honestly, wasn't planning to get into anything serious. She was also an international student doing her post-grad here. So figured there was no future anyway since she would be going back after graduation. We actually dated for a while with the understanding that it would end the moment she went home. However, somewhere along the way she started coming on really strongly saying how much she liked me. I'm not in the US so this is not for a green card. Anyhow, we ended up doing daily texts and nightly calls even after she went back. Managed to get some leave as well, so went on a holiday together somewhere in between then and now. In the last 2 weeks, however, I've realized that her text messages are getting slower and slower. She's sharing less and less about her life. And very often, her messages seem to just be humoring me with a response. Now to be fair, she did tell me upfront that she was staying at her sister's place to help take care of the kids because the brother-in-law was away, and then she had a trip with a friend planned. No reason to doubt these. She was sending me photos on and off, but I can't help getting the snaggy feeling that she has started talking to someone else. There are just too many small signs. Like she wouldn't reply my text but can be online playing a game. I can see that she's in a party of 2. It's a game we used to play together, but she doesn't even invite me while I can see her playing late into the night with her new friend. All of these by itself aren't really a cause of concern, but together, they seem to be something. Of course, I don't know if I'm just being overly sensitive. I guess my question is this, for those of you who have also been cheated on, how do you know whether you're thinking too much or to trust your gut? I honestly hate being like this because I feel so insecure and needy. Not sure if I came off as a needy teenager but I'm 31 minutes and she's 29. I feel like getting cheated on really screwed me up somewhere. Second story. Letter to the person I loved and cheated on me. I'm new to posting on Reddit and my apologies if I do this wrong. I've been really struggling after my 9-year relationship with the woman I loved and had 3 children ended after she left me for her affair partner, who is 15 years older, has 2 kids, and was married. He also willfully gave up custody time with his children, while I've fought for 50-50 with my own. I'm not perfect in any way, but the struggle of going through all of this has been terrible. I've taken a lot of solace in reading other posts here on Reddit and I appreciate everyone who has shared. I'm 34, by the way and my ex is 28, She really put me through the ringer, but the more and more I read the more confident I am that through time I will heal, and not dwell on this so much anymore. Thank you all in advance for reading and I hope I can help you all as well if you're going through the same struggle. This is a letter I just wrote that I will likely never send. I've made the mistake of trying to make her aware of how bad this guy 43 is but that's done nothing. If anything it's made their bond stronger and made her want to protect him even more. The biggest challenge I believe that will ultimately work is just letting her go. I never deserved this and no one else deserves to be cheated on. Here's the letter. I deleted the names for privacy. I'm writing you this letter because it's what I need to finally let you go. I might never send this to you but I'm going to write it anyways. You just need to know how much damage you did to me through all of these years. I know you like to say that I did damage to you also, but that isn't what we're here to talk about. I was always good enough and I never deserved to be treated the way you treated me. No one in the world deserves to be cheated on by the person they love and the person they thought they would spend the rest of their lives with. Maybe one day I'll forgive you but right now I can't feel that emotion. The day you allowed a married man to come over and sleep with you was the day you proved you never really cared about us. Even though I didn't know it was going on, it was still shameful of both you to treat myself and Tiffany the way that you did. We both might not have been perfect, but neither are both of you. All I wanted was to have a family that could grow together, and I wanted to spend the rest of my life with you. You had me going all in, you had my entire heart, and you took advantage of that for years. There was a point where I thought we would enjoy the rest of our lives together, even when there were tough times. I was willing to keep going, even if things were rocky, and I thought you were willing, too. You had me fooled thinking you really loved me more than anything in the world, and it made me feel special. Shame on you for using that to keep secrets safe and have a backup plan. Everything I did every day, working long hours, taking care of the kids, taking us on trips, and trying to build a home together, was all because I dearly loved you, but that just wasn't good enough. But it was, and I was, and you will know this in the future. Be real. A married man who sneaks around behind his wife's back and his children's back is nothing but evil. I'll never know what you see in him, but apparently it was good enough to break apart multiple families and send people into turmoil for years. In time you'll see how messed up the two of you are. Good relationships are not born on lies and deceit, but rather on honesty and the willingness to accept another person's faults. There's no one in this world who is perfect for you, and there's no one in this world who is perfect for me. The only difference is that I accept that people can be different, but you choose to think that if someone doesn't fill all of your needs, then that person is not for you. Soon you'll find out that this monster is not going to fill all of your needs either, just like you thought about me. The hardest part for me right now is just letting go of the girl I thought I would spend the rest of my life with. It's so hard because we have so much history and growth together through all of these years. We had 3 children, bought a house, planned our future together, and you chose to just throw that all away. Maybe history isn't everything a relationship is built on, but it's still very important, and our history is much better than the history you already have with your so-called soulmate. Let me break it to you, he's not your soulmate. You were 19 when you met him and he was 35. You were in a solid relationship with a child on the way, both growing in our careers, and you decided a married man with 2 kids was a good thing to allow in. You made the bad choice, not me. I loved you and you just threw it all away. I was willing to go to hell and back with you and you just didn't care. That man has done nothing but sneak around and only was willing to be with you once his wife found out and divorced him. He'll get bored most likely. But then again, maybe he's smart enough to realize that you are his last chance to be with someone for the rest of his life, because everyone knows the type of person he is from what he did to his family. I just wish you could see it now, and that's the biggest part of my recovery. I am very confident in time that you're going to want to be back with me, and when that day comes I hope to be wise enough and strong enough to tell you to stop. I will not endure myself to your behavior any longer. I never deserved to be treated that way, no matter how you spin the story that I was an awful person somehow. I accept that I was never perfect, but the way I was me was not fake, and I never ever deserved to be treated like that. A lot of times I feel a low self-worth because of what you did and feel like he was better than me. And you know what? Fuck you for making me feel that way. I'm so much better than he was and will ever be. He cheated on his wife and kids and has no ambition in life but to keep stocking produce at a grocery store. Fuck him, I'm way better than he is. I keep getting up each day, even after what you put me through, and am determined to live a great life. I didn't need to replace you with some 20% bullshit because I know you were never going to be perfect. You will regret the day you ever told me you didn't want to be with me. Maybe I'm not perfect, but that dumb fucker is the biggest piece of shit around, and each day you're with him you're choosing evil over good. There isn't a soul in this world who thinks you made the right choice. You may be spinning your little webs of deceit together to make yourselves feel better and look good, but we all know who the two of you really are. The kids will know and everyone's family knows. You might have him hang around your sisters, but I know they'll be thinking the same thing, even if they say how it's good you're happy. God, I begged you when I shouldn't have. It should have been the other way around. I should have left you the moment I found out. I should have told you to go be with him and watch you face reality. But that time has passed, and there's nothing I can do about it anymore but start letting you go now. I don't know that you'll ever really see the amount of evil you two have done, but I'm not going to wait around anymore hoping it will happen. I need to move on from what you two have caused and find someone who is loving, loyal, and accepts me for me with all of my faults. I think I've already found that person in XXX, even though we live far apart. She's been through what I have and I trust that she's honest, real, and wouldn't put someone through what her and I have already been through in our past relationships. You could have had the world. You always talked bad about my family like they hated you, but you're the one who caused all of this. Shame on you for trying to make me go against them, just to make you not look bad. I should never have done that. You should have been the one apologizing and trying to win their trust back. You just always want others to feel sorry for you, and you manipulate the people that care about you the most. I miss the times where we could go to holidays and birthdays together and just be happy. But you fucked all of that up the moment you let him through the door. You both lost everything and it's so sad. Maybe you'll have a circle of people you can hang out with. People you likely aren't going to bring up the past to and who have no clue what you two did. But you're truly going to be lonely together. Day to day will come, the finances, the kids, the picking what to do or where to go. You might have a babysitter now, which I think you always wanted, but reality is going to hit you too like a ton of bricks. Just remember who stuck with you when shit hit the fan and was willing to keep going. In hindsight, I never should have, but I still can take pride in not giving up on you. You both gave up on us, though, and that's your true character, the both of you. I am not losing anything from letting you go, but instead I'm going to gain peace and happiness through time. Whether you stay with him or not, hard times will come. He may charm you, say the right things, but you gave him the playbook by always saying what parts you didn't like about me. That's an easy thing to do when a person opens their relationship to an outsider, but a true relationship works together and ends it the right way if things can't be fixed. You both chose the coward's route and will likely do it again when times get tough. When that day comes, I will not be a part of your manipulation anymore. You will likely reach out to me and tell me how sorry you are, that it was all a mistake, and how much you didn't realize the pain you caused to so many. When that day comes, I will not accept you back. No matter how painful it is right now, I know that I will get better and happier and you'll likely head in the other direction. At that point, I'll likely be able to forgive you because I'll be in a much better place, a place where we should have been all along. I'll have to fight my emotions from accepting you back, but it will be the right choice. You both made this bet and you will lie in regret for the rest of your lives. Just be a good parent. Love the kids, and find someone who really cares about you and treat them better than you treated me. Update. My 35M ex-mother of my children, 27F, left me for her affair partner, 43M. Am I going to heal? I'm not really sure what I want to say or even ask, but I just search and search about my situation, and it's like I'm looking for the answer I want to find. My situation is that I was with my ex, who's the mother of my 3 children, for about 9 years. We bought a house together, obviously had children together, and were engaged. We clearly shared a lot and I always thought things were going to last forever. At one point she kind of convinced me to quit my good-paying job and sell our house so we could move back to where we originally were from. I must also say that even though she persuaded me, I was also kind of looking forward to it, so that's not her fault, although I regret having followed through with it all. Fast forward, we moved to a newer apartment building with our 3 children. After about 4 months or so, I had the strangest feeling in my mind and saw her phone on our bed. I've never looked at her phone or anything before, because I never wanted to do that, and I also never thought anything lacking in trust before. But for some reason I decided to look, and, little to say, I ended up devastated. It turned out she was having an affair with a married man, who also had 2 children for quite a while. They would pretend to be working at night and go to hotels or get together at each other's houses while myself and his wife were working. Whatever they did, they were obviously sneaky about it all. BTW, the apartment we now lived in, which was an hour-and-a-half move, was less than 1/2 a mile from where her affair partner worked. I ended up trying to make things work over the next few years, but I know I should have just said go ahead and be with him the moment I found out. She posted online the day I found out that I decided to leave her and the kids were looking for help to find a place. I called her out on that and she later mentioned to people what she actually did, but man oh man. She always tried to make it look like I was the reason for despair all of the time when it was her cheating. LOL. This should have been an early warning sign of what was to come. Through the next few years of trying, where we went to therapy only a few times, I would always bring up the cheating, became overly affectionate out of fear. Found her secret phone and his number written on a hidden piece of paper. Overall, us trying was just a bunch of bullshit and was more like not knowing what direction to move out of fear and complacency. During the last year and a half of our relationship, she would tell me she didn't want to be together anymore. I'd move to my dad's. And then a month or two later she'd text me I miss you or I love you. She did this on 4 separate occasions over the course of that time, and it played with my mind even more. All the people I loved would tell me to move on and realize she'll just do this again and again, because she has her own issues that aren't your fault. They also cared about my well-being and could see me suffering. The biggest problem of all of this is I would think she's changed this time. She's sorry about the cheating and we can live happily ever after. But every time I moved back in, everything went back to the same routine, with her growing quiet again and myself bringing up the cheating. About 4 months ago she said she didn't want to be together anymore and I again moved out. About a month ago, however, I went to drop off the kids and she told me she was seeing the man she cheated on me with. I was angry, devastated, and destroyed once again. Over this past month I've been trying to realize how screwed up all of this is and wanting them to fall apart. I've done the whole pleading, begging, trying to convince that this is wrong. He's a horrible person. The kids will suffer. I'm the right person. You're making a mistake, and everything in between. The hardest part is no matter what I say or do, she's convinced that he's a good person and I just don't understand him. I mean, I get it. She's trying to protect him. And it's understanding that she can love him, but I mean, come on. Everyone outside of their bubble knows what the actual perceptions are. LOL. I'm just writing this because I'm having a hard time moving on. Whether it be the long-term relationship, our history, having children together, her back and forth attitude, and her now being with this guy. It's just been tough as hell. I also feel lonely, to be honest. I've been doing online dating and have gone on a few dates, but I've kind of stopped talking to new girls because I realize I can't give what I should in a new relationship at this time. But at some point I hope I can. I just want to say, I feel like I'm losing something, but am I? I feel like they're going to live happily ever after, but are they? Maybe they will, and she always has a way of convincing me of the false realities. I mean, now they're going to have to live in a world where there's no more secrets besides from each other. They never had to do the day-to-day, the waking up with sick kids, paying the bills, or anything mundane. They still don't, as he lives with his mom. His ex-wife took everything from him and he pays a ton in support and alimony. And he willingly gave his ex full custody of the kids. He must be a really good sweet talker. Which is easy when my ex only gave him the ammo of all of my wrongs, and he was able to exemplify how he could feel all of my wrongs with his rights without having to deal with anything else. Am I being crazy? Are they going to work? I mean, are they going to go to Thanksgiving together, the mistress at the table and the loser cheating husband saying grace while everyone whispers behind their backs? I don't tell my kids anything, but I know his ex-wife does, and my ex is very sensitive to people not liking her. She's also jumped from job to job for years because of one thing or another that most people just deal with in normal work life. She's also always complaining about not having money but gets things in the mail every day, from makeup to furniture, which frustrated me all of the time. Just the other day she had a bunch of furniture come, and she sat there complaining how her checking account was negative over the last week. Meanwhile, I left her all of our accumulated furniture to keep, and I just have been living frugally fresh. I just want to know, am I going to heal and be better while she and that guy fall down and become lonely together? I think once I start moving upwards I'm not even going to care anymore, but in this moment, I just want some advice. I know I wouldn't want to be in a relationship where both people showed they can't work on a relationship when things get hard. I also think down the road I might have in the back of my mind, this person cheated to be with me. So why should I trust them? Either way, I'm trying to convince myself that I'll be alright as I've been a kind person. I fought to have shared custody of my children, actually paying more than half of all expenses just because although I could ask her to pay more, I love my kids every day. I got promoted at work recently in my new finance career, while only being 13 weeks away from getting my bachelor's in finance. And I have my family and friends who love me and want to see myself thrive and move on. She only has him at this point and it's going to be a tough road for their relationship, which I think they'll try to protect knowing everything they sacrificed and destroyed to be together, even if they're suffering. I still struggle with the intrusive thoughts, but I also know that her and I had sex more than anyone ever together in our lives, and she came on to me all of the time, which I'll admit was fun, and I also came on to her a lot. I know this is long and random questions here or there, but any advice would be great and really just looking to get help moving forward without all of the anger and thinking they're going to be perfect together. I'm tired of convincing myself that I'm losing something tremendous after all of the pain she put me through, and I'm tired of feeling like I'm a loser in all of this somehow. Update. Why is it so hard for me, 35M, to move on from my cheating ex, 28F? My ex, 28F, and I, 35M, have been officially done for about half a year now. We had been together for about 9 years, have 3 young children together, moved around, bought a house, and everything else in a long-term relationship that seemed like it was just going to last forever. About 2 to 3 years ago, I had found out that she had been cheating on me for many years with a married man, 42M, who also has children too. I was devastated like anyone would be, not eating, being hypervigilant, paranoid, angry, and everything else. This went on for about 2 years as I just couldn't get past the betrayal. Before we were done 6 months ago, the year time period before that, she had broken up with me about 3 or 4 times, having me move to my dad's a few blocks away because I can't really afford a place on my own with all of the expenses of childcare, which I pay for, and she pays for the rent where she lives. All of it comes out pretty even cost-wise, although I do pay a little bit more after each breakup. However, she would send me the "I miss you" or "I love you" text, and I would end up going back with her, and we just end up in the same place as usual with my bitterness and my paranoia. Over the last 6 months I was feeling really good, and about the 2-month mark, I had finally felt like I was moving on, and those depressing days were starting to be less and less. There were even points where we would just hang out and do stuff with the kids, her and I, and there was really no pressure at all. This time lasted for about a month, when she told me that she was now dating the man she cheated on me with and wanted to introduce him to the kids. At this point I became angry, depressed, and like I had been cheated out of life, and the constant feeling of this can't be real, or how could someone choose to do this after everything that happened. At first I would try to convince her how bad of a person this guy was, but reminding her all of the things he has done to his family, which she paid no attention to and would only protect him, saying I don't know him, although I talked to his ex-wife and she's told me a lot of things that reinforce my thinking. Either way, the first part was anger and trying to convince her. Then it shifted to me trying to convince her to pick me over him by trying to get close to her. There were points where we would cuddle on the couch. She would lay down on me, tell me she missed me, that she still loved me. And I would even stay the night as we cuddled in our underwear in her bed. Oh well, she's dating him. I know this part is not good for me character-wise, but I was in desperation revenge mode and wasn't really sure what I was doing at all. Every time I opened up about how much I loved her, she would say it won't work or that she's confused by everything. If I stopped contacting her then, all of a sudden she would say how much she screwed up, loves me, misses me. This is like a repeat thing she's always done to me and I can't stand it. About 2 weeks ago, I decided to send her cheater loser a message about all that we had been doing. I didn't read the reply or anything, so not sure what happened, but I told her I told him. The day after she was upset, but then she had a flat tire and guess who she called? That's right, the guy who she cheated on, me. LOL, I helped, just like I always do, and we ended up hugging and stuff later on. Still, she doesn't want to be together and thinks the cheater loser is better. There's a lot more of her taking advantage of me that I'm not going to write about, but it's a never-ending story. Either way, to the current state of where I am, I've been reading non-stop on surviving a cheater and narcissism, and I finally felt I could have some empathy for myself. She used me, manipulated me, lied to me, and didn't really care what would happen to me if she cheated, even if she says she does. She's made me feel like I'm the reason for everything bad, and I bought into it for years. The truth is, I've always been there for her, the kids. Worked my butt off so we could buy a home, go on trips, and everything else. I would always talk to her, hug her, and everything felt great for years. But now I kind of see the veil lifting for who she really is, and I'm just wondering why it's so hard to move on. Like, what am I missing? Today she wanted me to come with to get photographs done for her and the kids, but I told her I'm not coming with. When she picked them up she still wanted me to come with, but I told her no. This is the point of me wanting to finally just cut things off and heal myself. As much as I wish I could hold her at night and all of this would go away, I also know that if I go back to her I'll end up in the same depression I always do. Can someone tell me I'm doing the right thing? Should I be trying to win her back even though she chose him over me? Will she try to get back with me one day, if I just finally end things and only talk about the kids when necessary? Am I crazy? Thank you all in advance. Update. Cheating ex, 27F. Just drinks and spends money now. Just an observation lately from my cheating ex, who's the mother of my 3 children. I've gone no contact for about a week and a half so far, only communicating in very abbreviated words about the kids. Unfortunately before that I was doing the whole pick me dance and everything, and she's just become a drinker. Not like day drunk, and goes out to bars, drives drunk, and it's kind of shocking. She used to yell at me for drinking. I'll admit there were times I drank too much, but now she's someone completely different. She would hardly sip alcohol before, but now she's getting almost blackout drunk and getting hungover, even calling into work. She also cashed out her 401k and is maxing out her credit cards after finally paying them off. I'm not really sure what my point is here except seeing if anyone can dissect this stuff. She's always been a sort of chameleon, which is noticeable as her younger sister, who is kind of a sleeping around type of person. Drinks all of the time, and even does drugs, is around her a lot now. Her sister also has a bunch of tattoos, and now my ex is getting a ton of tattoos. It's just so strange. LOL. I'll admit that I feel like I'm guilty of holding her back, but I also think she's headed down a dark path, and maybe I was the one helping her maintain a stable life. IDK? Does anyone know? LOL. She's always told me I worried too much about her spending all of our money. When she's getting tattoos, getting her hair done, going to concerts while renting sports cars to drive 2 hours away and drive home drunk. There's way more, but I don't feel like typing it all, haha. I think my biggest holdup at this moment is having thoughts that she's out there having a bunch of fun, and I was the one holding her back. I have intrusive thoughts of her hooking up with any guy she wants. My mind stretches to the worst thing. This shit is hard, but I'm just not sure. I know I'm almost done with college in a few weeks, have a good job with room to grow, and I always make sure to go on adventures, have fun with my kids. We do 50-50. It's like I'm on the path I wanted us to go on, and she's on a path of I'm free and going to have fun, and it's frustrating. I know I'm very patient and know how to work for things over the long haul, and she's very impatient. Having just quit her job a few months ago to start a different one. She's done this about 10 times over our 9-year relationship. Maybe just remind me I'm doing good stuff and I'll be happy again. LOL. Update. I'm 35M. Starting to let go of my cheating ex, 27F, who is with her AP, 42M. Backstory: I was in a relationship with my ex, 27F, for about 9 years. We have 3 kids together, ages 6, 4, and 3. I found out about 3 years ago that she was cheating on me with her AP, 42M, for the majority of our relationship. Like a lot of us have done, I tried to make it work, although I never could let go of the pain or bitterness from it all. About 6 months ago she broke up with me, and about 3 months ago she told me she was seeing her AP. I was devastated, confused, hurt, of course, and played the pick-me dance. There were times where I would spend the night with her, cuddling in our underwear, while she's in the relationship with the AP. We went on a trip with the kids, where her and I went in the hot tub in our room naked together. And we've done other stuff. I kind of stopped trying to do this over the last month or so because I just didn't really care to do that anymore. As well as I've done a lot of reading on cheaters, narcissists, joined this forum, and have had a bit of an awakening. I just found out last week that she introduced our kids to him. I had brought my kids to the park, and my daughter told me, "We came here yesterday with mommy's boyfriend." I actually was impressed with myself for not getting angry, but instead I stayed calm and explained to my kids that I don't like him because he and mommy made daddy very sad for a long time because they broke promises of when you're in a relationship that you can't kiss anyone else. I toned it down as much as possible, and that a lot of other people were sad because of what they did also. One of my sons asked me, "You're sad? You don't look sad," and I just told him yes. I've been sad because of what mommy did for a long time, and I still am, but I'm happy right now because I'm with the 3 of you. I love my kids so much. They're good kids and really show me what love is. Anyways, yesterday I found out that my ex went and met his kids, 2 young children, who he had with his ex-wife, who he was married to for about 15 years or so. His ex-wife told me that it happened because we like to warn each other since my ex and the AP always hides stuff. Surprising, huh? LOL. Anyways, I get a text from my ex with a screenshot of his ex-wife telling him that I've been sleeping with my ex and the hot tub thing. I had told her this stuff just to let her have some ammo, and all of a sudden my ex was saying I messed up. I need to stop. Things would be a lot easier if I just let them be. Remind you, she's the one who is cheating on him right away. LOL. And I don't blame myself for doing it because I was in the pick-me dance stage and trying to save my family. Now, today, I'm assuming she's going all in with him and trying to get him around the kids as much as possible. But honestly, today for the first time, I don't really care. I know they're not going to hurt them or be mean. If anything, she's been meeting up with him and the kids at the park and stuff. Which is ironic because when we were together I would always beg her to come to the park or go on bike rides or go to the beach with us, but she just wouldn't. She'd just sit at home on her phone. LOL. Now she's obviously trying to make him look like me, which I don't think she even realizes. LOL. I guess in all honesty I do care what happens, but now I'm seeing a bigger picture. I also told her that she needs to pay for half of the daycare costs. We do 50-50 and make right around the same money. and she said she can't afford it and sent me a screenshot of her maxed out credit card. She just paid it off a few months ago with her tax return and said she'd never use it except emergencies. This was always a big issue with her, and I would tell her she wastes too much money, and we need to buy a house. But it was always my fault, lol. I then asked her how she just bought plane tickets to California, and just got back from California 2 weeks ago. And how is she affording her tattoos or hair appointments, or brand new furniture, and is going to get Invisalign apparently. LOL. Overall, I just want to say that good riddance. I miss being with her because of us having kids together, being used to being there with her, and I did love her, which I think I still do. But come on, she's not worth it. She's just doing the same stuff over and over again and blaming me and everyone else. This was frustrating for years, but now it's someone else's turn. They can go open up their world and realize not everyone is pushing for them to succeed because of all of the pain they've caused. I'm not really losing anything. I get sad that I'm alone at night without the kids and that someone else gets to hold her in bed at night, but in reality, what's the difference? He can have her and the headache she brings. He doesn't have any money either and lives with his mom and dad. They'll stick together because why not? LOL. Who else would want them? I get depressed a lot of the time and still think about everything where I get jealous and angry, but one day this will pass. I don't have to be with anyone, but I also wouldn't mind finding the right person. Until then, I'm going to keep doing the right things, working on my career, and building a loving, trusting relationship with my children. They can have the drama. I've had enough already in my life. Update. I had a panic attack breakdown today. Just going through the motions. X, 27F, has been in a relationship with her AP, 42M, for a few months now. I played the pick me dance, of course, had some success, still got heartbroken, of course. Anyways, the past few days I've cut off contact with her unless it's about the kids. One of the last things we talked about was her not paying for half of the daycare, because she can't afford it. I asked her how she can afford to go to concerts, rent cars, go on a plane trip to California, buy tickets for another trip to California, get insulin, go out drinking, and everything else still. She won't admit that she just doesn't care about anyone but herself and her happiness. Surprise, surprise, right, my friends? Well, I'm sure a lot of you have gone through a lot of this same stuff with your cheating ex, going with the AP in the real world and everything that comes with it. You want them, you don't want them. You want to convince them they're making the wrong choice. You wish they'd wake up one day and come begging you to take them back. And so much more. We've all unfortunately been going through this, have gone through this, or are about to go through all of this. Anyways, to my post title. I used to have panic attacks all of the time but really haven't for quite a few years. Today, however, I broke no contact with her, just asking how work was going and talking about the kids, and how I'm almost done with my bachelor's degree in a few weeks. Didn't get emotional about anything, just talking about whatever. No focus on relationships at all. Once I got done with work, I went and got the kids, came home, and I just had the worst panic attack I've had in years. I could hardly walk, think, see, or do anything. It was scary as hell, and, with most of my panic attacks, I feel like I'm going to die for sure. I had to text my ex because it helps just to tell someone that I'm having a panic attack, kind of talking through it. I didn't feel safe being by myself with the kids, so I took her offer to have her come pick them up. She came right away and offered me a really great, long hug. Although I hate to admit it, the point of this all is, I was doing fairly well not talking to her, and just not knowing anything about what she was doing. Then I made the mistake of reaching out, and I think that's what kind of led to my breakdown panic attack. It was like I held so much in trying to stay strong, and then all of a sudden, I let it go for a bit and my mind broke down again. I can tell you, everyone, that all of this sucks so much. None of us should have to go through all of this, and I'm sorry for everyone who has. Back to the point of her not paying for daycare, saying she was broke. My daughter told me mommy didn't go to work Monday because she was sick. When my ex came to get the kids, I asked her if she was sick Monday, and she said no. I said our daughter said you were sick and stayed home. She said, oh, I had a migraine. Well, I was hungover. My sisters and I went to the concert. It was only $20. At this point I was still in a panic attack fog. But now I'm clearing up and just want to say WTF. Again with this stuff. I know I don't control her. But come on, do these people ever change? I'm not asking for her to get back together. I'm asking her to pay for her half of daycare and not BS me about not having money when she goes and does all of this stuff. I'll be the first to say that I don't do much of anything. Lavia says I pay a ton for daycare and no, I can't afford it. But once again, if I were to say anything, she would just turn it around on me and say I deserve to do things for me. Well, what about everyone else? Our kids, shouldn't they get to do stuff? I take them to have fun every time I'm with them, and they complain to me that you just sit there when they're at your house. IDK. I don't think anything I ever do or did would have been good enough. Even though I'm really a good person, it's just hard to fathom how cheaters really think. Just so self-centered and blamish shifting. Stay strong everyone. Back to the beginning again for me. Tomorrow I'll be fine, almost done with my degree. Moving up at work. I wish I had someone to share this with in a loving way with a girlfriend, but that day will come. It's hard not to be jealous about her and the AP, but I don't think they'll be happy all of the time. They'll fight one day. He already doesn't trust her and wait until my kids start having meltdowns while they try to be all lovey-dovey, huh? Not to mention he has 2 kids also. Now I'm just ranting. I'll stop now. True love will find me with someone who has good values and is trustworthy. One day I'll just look back and laugh at how I cared about a cheater, liar, self-centered person like her. They can have each other. Update. I'm 35. I'm about to go on a date today. Just kind of putting it out there, hoping people will give me some confidence. LOL. I'm about to go on a date today for only the second time since my cheating ex. 27F. And I broke up about 7 months ago, and for the first time since she told me she was in a relationship now with her AP. 42M. Ex has the kids today. Just dropped them off. So now I'm going to get ready and go hang out with this new girl. 34F. Later today. We actually hung out a few times when we were about 17 or 18 years old. Just real casual, and nothing really materialized, but we always liked each other, never had any bad terms at all. Although I'm still kind of hard on myself sometimes about what my ex and her AP did to myself and my family and his family. I'm by far much better off now than I have been in a long time. I see my ex more for who she was in real life rather than the image of who I wish she was. I still struggle a bit, but it gets better every single day. One of the kind of coolest things about this girl and her and I reconnecting is that we have a good history, and then somehow reconnected about 17 years later out of the blue. Digging further, as we've been talking for a while now, she's divorced because her husband cheated on her and she also has children. I'm not going to lie. Even though I wish she didn't have to go through the same thing I have and what most of us on here have, I'm kind of relieved to find someone who knows that pain. Although I'll still be looking for any red flags if they arise, I feel really confident that I can trust her, which is the first thing I'm looking for in any new relationship. She's also been a great support for me to just talk about how I feel about what happened to me, and I do the same for her. We connect on other levels also, like she actually likes to play basketball and cares about playing with her children, which is so awesome. Now, I'm not going to get ahead of myself. I know we might not click perfectly, and I'm not going to be with someone just to be with someone, but something just lines up so well with her. I'm really writing this for 2 reasons. 1. To get a little feedback confidence from all of my friends on here, and 2. To give a bit of hope to those struggling right now through the pain of cheating and betrayal that good days and good things can and do happen. I know I felt like crawling into a hole and never coming back out most days, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. But please, everyone, keep going. You are all going to get stronger, wiser, and good things will come because you are a good person. You are not defined by the betrayal of others. That is 1000% on them and always will be. They can go continue to blame you for all of the cheating and everything wrong with life, but you'll know the truth, and they can never take that away from you. I hope we all find some comfort in this life and find good people who share the same qualities and characters as ourselves. The cheaters can have each other and the tears, heartbreak, and betrayal that comes with them. They won't change, but we sure as hell can, and we're all going to thrive. Update. Why do I, 35M, still get upset even though I really can't stand my cheating ex, 28F? I haven't posted in a while, mainly because I've been putting myself out there and actually started hanging out with a woman, 39F, who is a lot like myself. She's kind, always does stuff with her 3 kids, goes hiking, camping, and just loves to be outside. She doesn't drink very much, is ambitious, as in going to school to become an electrician, and is kind of a goofball like myself, which I enjoy. We hung out once in the past few weeks, but things have kind of slowed down. Although I really like who she was, I know that not everyone has to like me, lol, and that's okay. The good thing is that her and I are on good terms, and I never begged for her to like me or anything like that. Just general polite conversation, asking about each other and complimenting one another. To be honest, I really liked her, but I'm not sure if it's because of who she seemed to be or because it really opened my eyes to seeing that there are people out there who I'm much more compatible with and enjoy the same things that I do. This is very different from my cheating ex, who seemed to knock everything down that I liked and made me feel like a loser. Anyways, to the title of my post. Over the past weekend, we had a friends from school and daycare party for my 5-year-old son at the trampoline park. Unfortunately, my little guy got hurt and ended up breaking his leg. He's doing okay given everything that happened to him, and he's in good spirits. Him and I are headed to the orthopedic doctor tomorrow to see what the next plan of action is for him to heal the best. The morning of the party, I was dreading being around my ex. I had felt so good in the past few weeks not being around her and getting to know people with better character. Once the party started, I just stayed away from her and went bouncing with my kids and everyone else up until my son got hurt. We brought him to the ER together, and since then I've essentially been at her house doing whatever I can to make sure my little guy is okay. She stayed home with him today from work, and she said that he really wanted me to take him to Dairy Queen, which we all did together, along with our 2 other kids. I suggested we get our little guy outside also, so we went on a walk around the lake, feeding pretty tame chipmunks. From there we all went back to her house, and I continued making sure he was okay and just getting to be around him. The past 3 days the kids were scheduled to be at her house. About an hour ago, I brought my little guy into her bedroom so he could watch a movie, and I was just planning on hanging out there until he fell asleep. Once I got him in there, my cheating ex's phone started to ring on her charger, and it was her AP, 42M, calling. I looked at the phone, and it was him, name with hearts and a picture of her and him next to each other. Once I saw this, I just got so mad and irritated. Even though I really don't like who she is as a person, lol. I ended up just leaving and not saying anything to her, but I gave my kids a kiss goodbye and said I'll see you in the morning for the doctors. I just can't stand when I do everything right, like I pretty much always have, and this idiot comes in all schmoopy-doopy, probably saying, "Hey babe, how's the little guy doing?" I just wish I could reach in the phone and say, "Get the $% out of here, you idiot. No one cares about your dumbass." IDK where I'm going with this, but one day I hope to just be away from her completely. I still get triggered, but I know the key has been just staying away from her and finding good people again. In reality, I know she has very low morals, but acts like she's free now from the apparent reign of me lol. I've also noticed lately the things she says that I would usually react to I just now sit in silence. Some examples are her paying off her credit cards by cashing out her 401k and saying she's going to save a bunch of money to buy a house, likely with old dipshit. But we went through the DQ drive-thru and what does she pull out to pay? Yeah, you could probably guess, her credit card she just paid off. While I was there this weekend she also talks about she has no money. Like she always would say, but she came back with a bunch of unneeded stuff from Target. And then says she has to sell some double wagon thing so she can buy groceries. Like you can't make this stuff up, haha. Why do people act like this? And then us betrayed drop this picture in our mind that they're so much better now and we're the losers? Like we lost some prize? I just wished for a day I could be an outside viewer and see things for how they really are and just go, oh, don't worry, you didn't lose anything, lol. My son also keeps saying he wants to be with me, and my daughter kept asking my ex if she could go stay at my house. I don't say anything to the kids about her. I don't badmouth. But it seems like they can see what is going on and almost want to be around the parent who didn't betray their trust and actually wants to go play with them. Sorry, I could just go on and on. Before I would write nasty texts to her, trying to show her how dumb she was and show her the mistakes choices she making, but now I just rant on her instead of wasting my time on her anymore. I'm doing pretty well at work though. About to graduate with my bachelor's in finance in 2 weeks. And doing some things on the side for a better future for my kids, and I know I take the patient approach, which will pay off. But she tends to want things now instead of thinking about anything later, which seems to be a recurring theme with these dipshits. Thanks for listening and thanks even more if you read this whole rant. I hope you all are healing and finding better things in life than the cheaters who play at our minds and manipulate for their own game. Screw them all, they can have each other.